It's been exactly 6 months since I got the Revolut Ultra card. And I thought that would be a perfect time to do a quick reflection on all the things that I love about the Revolut Ultra card, plus of course the things that I think should be better, and in the end give you my fair analysis whether I'm going to keep the card in the future or look for another one. With this, let's get started. So, being a good German, I like my structure, so I prepared a little mind map for you to kind of go through the process and really touch on all the things that I found relevant for this video. So starting off with the cashback, which for me is probably one of the biggest appeal of the card. Right now, I pretty much use all my transactions together, not just with the actual card through my Apple Pay, but I actually connect this card, the plan, to my Revolut Pro card. And using a Revolut Pro plan, it depends which plan you're on, the higher, the more benefits you get. In my case, I'm getting a whopping 1.2% cashback on every transaction. And that's the great thing, there is no monthly limit to it, because a lot of the other plans do have a monthly limit. In many cases, the amount that you pay for your plan, so you can't get more than that. With your Pro card, there is no limit to it, which is really cool. And basically, if you spend, I don't know, 20,000 a month because you use your card for travels or for all your business expenses, which is actually intended to, then that amount can really get extremely high actually. In my case, you can see here in total, I already got 482 euros in cashback. Now, obviously, that's over a longer period of time, but even when you see the last few months, the cashback, last month I made 44 euros in cashback. That's pretty much exactly the cost that I pay for my card, which is 45 euros a month. The month before I got 58 euros, so I actually earned more money than I paid for the card. So it definitely paid off for itself. Of course, I also had some months previously in October where there was only 30 euros, so a little bit less than the card itself. So it obviously really depends on how much you spend on a monthly basis. If you spend, 1,000, 1,500 euros, then obviously that will be a very small amount. But if you're spending more, as I said, for business expenses or what have you on your company, then it really starts racking up, and the 1.2% is definitely noticeable and at least covers the fees that you pay for your card. And the cool thing, if I want to pay for something, I just double click on it over here. It pulls up my Revolut Pro card, you can see here, and boom, I tap to pay and right away I get the cashback credited to my account, which is really, really cool. I just love how seamless this is. And obviously you can have the Revolut Pro on pretty much most plans, but the lower you go on your plan, the less cashback you get. I believe on the metal plan right now you get 0.8% cashback only, and then the lower you go, the less cashback. But still, not too bad. Again, depends on how much you spend, but in my case, as you can see, in many months, it's actually paid for itself, which makes really financial sense. Next up, we go to the partner benefits. And that was one of the biggest appeals for me in the beginning, to really go with Revolut Ultra, because that was unique to Revolut Ultra. Right now, you also have some partner benefits on some lower plans, but definitely on the Ultra, you get the highest level of those plans, because even those plans and partner benefits have different benefits depending on which plan you're on. So I know it can be a little bit confusing, but honestly, there's a number of them. I'll show in a second, but the 3 partners I actually use the most is first off Financial Times. And you can see it, that alone cost 69 euros for the premium digital per month. I mean, that's really expensive, more than the Revolut card itself. And I get the premium digital version for the whole year, basically as part of the Revolut Ultra plan. So that's really attractive, especially for people who already read Financial Times. It really makes financial sense. Now, I must admit, I didn't read it much before. And in general, I want to reduce the amount of news that I read on a daily basis. But actually, Financial Times is a really polished and great news source for me, really geared towards financial news, and I really appreciate it. And as it comes with the card, I definitely really take advantage of that. The next one is NordVPN, and that's a VPN. I've been using a VPN for many, many years. Previously used to use ExpressVPN, which I paid for myself for many years. But now that NordVPN came free of charge, again, as part of my Ultra package, I obviously changed to them, and now I don't have to pay for it. And you can see if you go to the website, actually the complete plan, which is the one you get with the Ultra package, as I said, on some lower plan tiers you get some of the lower plans, but the complete one, which includes also cloud storage as well as a password manager and ad blockers, what have you, would cost you on a monthly plan 15 euros. Now if you go to the 1 year plan, it goes down a little bit to 6.50 euro, but still, once again, that's now included as part of my subscription, and I definitely love it. I have it on my phone, on my laptop, because I really recommend you, if you're not using a VPN, you're really compromising your own security. This is not sponsored by anyone, but really it's so much easier to get hacked if you're not using a VPN. So I strongly recommend you, even if you're not on the Ultra plan, make sure you pay for a subscription for any kind of VPN. Doesn't matter, ExpressVPN, Surfshark, NordVPN, in the end, they're all good. Just don't use a free one because they're usually not that reliable, but any of those big ones are really good. And honestly, having used NordVPN, I'm super happy with them. And the last one I use quite a few times is WeWork. On the Ultra plan, you get 3 access per month to any WeWork of your choice. Now, sadly, they recently filed for bankruptcy, so it remains to be seen what will happen with that benefit in the future. They probably change to a different provider of co-working space because I think that has a big appeal in general for people. So hopefully there will be something new coming depending on the future of WeWork. The few times I used it, it worked flawlessly. I got a QR code, I scanned it, and boom, I could go in there and work, from London, from Berlin, any kind of WeWork, wherever I've been. Got free coffee, met cool people, and yeah, really enjoyed that benefit. And inside the app, you can also see all the other benefits that are included with your subscriptions. So let's have a look, see all over here. And these are all the other benefits that I could be taking advantage of. We obviously touched on the first three. The other ones I don't really use. I tried them, but honestly, I'm not really using them, especially Tinder. My wife told me not to take advantage of that, which is understandable. But all the other ones, even Headspace, I want to do more meditation, but somehow I'm not really getting into it. But if you are, then that's amazing because that also costs quite a bit on a monthly subscription. Headway is almost like Blinkist, a sort of a book summary, which is really cool. Freeletics for working out, Sleep Cycle to track your sleep. So some really cool benefits over there, which you can definitely take advantage of. And if you use all of them, then you most certainly will be saving with the Ultra plan rather than paying for all of them individually. With this, let's move on to another benefit, which was initially one of the biggest appeals for me to sign up on the Ultra plan, and that was the free airport lounge access, which is really, really cool. Previously, on other plans, they had discounted prices for lounge access. So instead of paying, 35 euros, you'll be paying 25 euros. So it's nice, but then you still kind of have to pay for it. And you think twice, should I really do it or not? And I never did it in the past, but now having it free of charge as part of your plan, for me, was a really big appeal, as I usually travel at least once a month. If you go there and return, so you use a lounge twice at 35 euros, that's already 70 euros worth of money that you're saving by not spending on a lounge. Well, you might say, okay, I don't go to lounge at all, but let's be honest, even if you don't go to lounge, you're still gonna hang around the airport a little bit. So you're gonna have some water, you're gonna have a coffee and a little snack. You'll be spending 15, 20 euros easily, right? So that way, both ways, it's still 40 euros. So that almost pays for the Revolut card once again. So it depends how you see. If you hardly ever travel, then obviously there might not be a big benefit, but in my case, it definitely was a big appeal. And for that, they're actually using Dragon Pass. Now, previously with my Crypto.com card, I believe they used to call it Lounge Key Access. So that's a different provider. So these are kind of lounge network providers. And in this case, it's Dragon Pass. It's from China. Now, it is what it is, but technically it gives you access to over 1,100 lounges worldwide. And any lounge I went to myself so far, and that was from the UK to Spain to Germany, Lithuania, I never had any issues getting in there with the Dragon Pass access. And to do that, it's very easy. You just pull up your Dragon Pass on your Revolut app. It pulls up the QR code. You scan it at the lounge reception, and boom, you can see here unlimited entrance. You can have also guest entries. You have your membership number here. And from here, I could also buy a lounge access for a guest. And then we'll pull up, already you can see 24 euros instead of 35, which is already discounted. So that's nice. Or I could go also, which lounge can I enter? Click on that. And here have all the various lounges that are part of the network. So you could go, for example, click over here and look for London. And it will pull up all the various lounges in London that you could enter just by showing your QR code, and you'll get in there free of charge, which I really enjoy. And obviously some lounges are better than others, but usually at least you get a coffee, some free drink and a little snack. And often you also get to meet some interesting people, because people flying business or paying for a lounge, usually they tend to be doing quite well in life. And I always meet one or two people that are quite interesting, and we'll get into chatting and then afterwards connect. And for me, it's really good to start building my network. So if you haven't tried it yet, I would definitely recommend you start trying out lounges. And for me, actually, I end up saving money, because otherwise, as I said, I would spend it on coffees, drinks, and what have you, on duty free, etc. So this way, I'll definitely save money in a way by being in a lounge. Right, with this, let's move to some things that I think could definitely be improved on the Revolut Ultra plan. The first one is, of course, the high cost, which scares away a lot of people. Right now, actually, I'm paying 45 euros per month. So in fact, I actually paid 540 euros back in summer when I paid for it. That way it brought the cost down, and I got, I think, 1 or 2 months free. Otherwise, it might be almost 50 euros per month. So if you pay the full amount, even though it's an annual plan, it definitely can save you a bit of money. I can see how that scares a lot of people away. So I think really, if they could bring the price point down a little bit, it would bring in more people. Now, having said that, of course, at the same time, it's always a question of you get what you pay for, right? At the same time, as we went through quite a few of the benefits, you also get a lot of value, and I really hope they're going to be adding more of that in the future. I'll come to this in a second. So, it really depends. Some of those big fancy credit cards in the US, they can be costing $100 a month, right? But you also get a lot of benefits and more cashback and what have you. So everything is relative, right? You can spend 1,000 euros on a hotel room, or you can spend 50 euros on an Airbnb. It both does the same thing. So in my case, Right now, obviously, I think it's expensive, but I'm getting my money back, as I've shown you with the cashback, with the partner benefits. So for me, it makes financial sense. But you have to run your own numbers. And if you're spending less, you don't travel much, it really may not make sense for you. And you might actually be much better off on the premium plan or the metal plan. So I've done a whole video about this, and I linked that video at the end of this video. The next point that I think they could really improve with the card is the cashback. Now, currently, as I said, I get 1.2% on the Pro plan with my Ultra card. But honestly, I really think it could be a little bit higher. When you look to the US or the cards I used to have in Dubai, I got up to 1.5 or 2% cashback, which is definitely more attractive and once again makes it easier to justify a higher monthly premium because it's easier to get the money back, right? If you get 2% on every transaction, you much quicker recoup your monthly fee than if it's only 1%, right? Or 1.2 in my case. So I really hope that they could be higher. Having said that though, in Europe, naturally, the card processing fees are a little bit lower than they are in the US. So that's why they also have less margin to pass on the saving to the client. In the US, they charge 2-3%. So some of it they can just pass on to the customer, right? Which they can't really do in Europe. But at the same time, having said that, I wish it would be 1.5%, ideally 2%. That will be very attractive. Then we move on to the partner benefits, which I just mentioned to you was initially a big appeal for me to get the Revolut plan in the first place. Now, however, recently they made some changes to some of their lower price plan, namely the premium and metal plan, where you also start getting benefits. There are a few less partners and some of the plans are a little bit less. Let's say the NordVPN one, which I spoke to you before, instead of the complete one with the password manager, etc., you are at the entry plan, which is only a pure VPN. But still, that's not bad because let's not forget the premium plan is also significantly cheaper than the Ultra plan, right? So you should really go through and run the numbers for you and what you really need. Maybe you don't need a password manager, right? Actually, I don't need it as well because I use already one password for that. So in that way, it doesn't really make sense for me to pay for a higher plan, but it really depends on your own case. Now, don't get me wrong. I really like that they added those partner benefits to premium and metal users. I just think they should further beef up the partner benefits for the Ultra plan because now the difference is not that big anymore. There's slight little upgrades here and there, but if they had some big new partners to add for Ultra members, it will make the card so much more attractive and easier to justify the higher monthly cost. And lastly, let's move to once again airport lounge access, which, as I just mentioned, I really love that feature and it's great and it worked flawlessly. However, the problem is usually I don't travel alone. Either I travel with a business partner or most of the time with my wife actually. So what ends up happening is that I go to the lounge and she can't go because she doesn't have the Ultra card. So she will just hang around the duty-free shop or somewhere else. And I say, I'll be right back. Basically what happens, I go to the lounge, I grab some water, some little snack, put them in my bag and then go down and we eat it together in the public area. So for me, I would really wish that at least they would add one second person complimentary. Now I understand it's always a question of cost, of course, but I think, most people, they travel in pairs, right? Either with a family member or business partner, what have you. So being able to invite a guest or family member, I think they would really appreciate. And for you, it's amazing not having to rush out of the lounge because obviously you don't want to be sitting there while the other person sits in the public area. So I think that would be really, really nice. And honestly, even if they increased a little bit the monthly fee, for me, it would be well worth it because you can see right now, as I previously shown you, it costs 24 euros for another additional person, which in my case really doesn't make sense to pay for that if I'm already in the lounge for free, right? In that case, as I do now, I just take some stuff, put it in my bag, and then we'll just enjoy that together in the airport. So if they would add that feature, I think that will really elevate the value proposition of the Revolut Ultra plan. Right, so the question is, what's the verdict on Revolut Ultra? Having used the card for 6 months now, I must say it really grew on me. I love all the partner benefits. I don't even think about them anymore, but if I wouldn't have them, I would certainly miss it. The same with the airport lounge access. I don't even think about it anymore because any airport I go to, I know I'll be using the lounge. If I go by myself, I hang around there for quite a while. If I go together with my wife or business partner, at least I can go in there, get some free stuff, and then meet them elsewhere. And of course, the cashback. I mean, I had my wedding this summer and I spent a lot of money on the wedding, but getting the 1.2% cashback, it really paid for itself already. So honestly, with all the cashback I got in those 6 months, it's definitely more than I paid for the card itself. So objectively speaking, while I wish there could be more features added in the future to elevate the offering for Revolut Ultra, even right now as it is, for myself, it really makes financial sense because many months I get more from the cashback than I pay for it in fees, as well as all the other partner benefits. And the airport lounge access. In addition, of course, all the other great Revolut features, such as transferring money internationally without any fees, no exchange fees, and a high limit of 2,000 euros a month that I can have for ATM withdrawals, even though I hardly ever use cash. So all in all, I really love the card, and most likely, in case there's nothing better coming up anytime soon, I will be extending with them in the future. But as I mentioned during the video, if you're not spending that much on a monthly basis, nor travel very much, I do believe there are much better options out there, especially the Revolut Premium and Revolut Metal plan have really been beefed up with the new partner benefits, and I really think they offer amazing value for money, and I really recommend you looking into it. And if you want to have a full breakdown of all the various plans and the benefits they're offering, then check out this video over here. Stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!